I was employed as a writer and a photographer, which is not what you can do in a mainstream newspaper. I got a job at the Sydney Morning Herald, didn't like that, went back to Brisbane to the Courier Mail. I went to Melbourne on a holiday and I took some photos and showed them to this really eccentric guy with thick glasses and a long cigarette holder who kept trying to light the filter end. And I thought, he loved the photos. Till he sent me I got a letter saying you've been offered a place in the course. And so I quit my journalism job, even though I was about to be promoted, came to Melbourne. That's how I got into Prahran. Didn't really have a folio. I had a pretty girlfriend, a series of photos of her in various stages of undress. Athol always had an eye for an undressed woman, and so he liked that. And then he saw the photos of Whitlam and he said, that's the best folio of photos I've ever seen of the Prime Minister. And the girl and I were going to move to Melbourne, then we weren't, then we were, then we weren't, and I went. She didn't. I see the world in terms of the political dynamics, and photography to me was more than a folk art. It was a means of communication that I thought was going to be really important in addition to words. I mean, people don't read words as much as they probably should, and I wanted to learn how to effectively use photography to present a political end, a bit like the Dadaists did. But I wasn't going to do it in the clumsy way that it was often done. I wanted to learn to do it in a subtle and sophisticated way. And so therefore, that's what attracted me to Prahran, because I saw it, learning to do photography that way would make it more effective. Because for me, it was always a tool. Everything is a tool to a political end. The brick wall with people living behind it with an iron grill, they think they're in paradise, but they're in prison. That's the sort of politics I'm talking about. You know, before I went to Prahran, I was covering Queensland politics. Some of it was from the metaphysical thoughts of Paul Cox, but as much as anything, it was the people I was with, the group dynamics of that year was incredibly strong. I'm not sure whether it was the course on its own. No, I think it certainly was a factor, but it was also the group. And I'm still mates with these people, which is something I can say. I don't have many friends in journalism because it's such a ruthless, nasty, backstabbing business, but I've certainly got a lot of friends from Prahran. We were sort of a group together that felt there needed to be some changes in the course, and we sort of made a political statement, and I was dragged into it because I'd been a journalist and I had to write the manifesto, and that's what I did. And I was the one they shoved out the front to present it. They stood back to see what shit hit the fan. And we did it, and we sort of ended up with some quite significant changes in the course, including art history, a bit more structure in what we thought was a bit too much subjectivity in the way folios were handled, a bit more clarity. Left me with a huge impact.